Jason is at a virtual reality conference to learn how to make your avatar look less or more like you. And Owen J.J. Stone is here to rant about the uselessness of the MacBook Pro, you know, that one that he plans to buy. And I throw some more tech at him, decide if it's a good gift idea or if it's garbage. All that and a whole lot more coming up on Tech News Today.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today, episode 1633, recorded Wednesday, November 2nd, 2016. This episode of Tech News Today is brought to you by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage brings the mortgage process into the 21st century with a fast, easy, and completely online process. Check out Rocket Mortgage today at quickenloans.com/TNT. And by Jira Service Desk from Atlassian. Jira Service Desk delivers everything your IT team needs out of the box at a cost-effective price. For a free 7-day trial of Jira Service Desk, visit Atlassian.com/twit. And by ZipRecruiter. Are you hiring? With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post to 100 plus job sites, including social networks, all with a single click. Screen, rate, and hire the right candidates fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/twit. Welcome to Tech News Today. This is the show where we talk about tech with some people who love technology, the ups, the downs, the all-arounds. I am Megan Maroney. Jason is at VRDC. That's the Virtual Reality Developers Conference. But joining me today is Owen J.J. Stone. Welcome, Owen.
Hey, happy to be here. Mr. Face.
I know. I get tweets. It's been too long. Have Owen on again. And I say, of course, I would have you on every day if I could. But apparently
These people have nothing. These people have nothing better to do than to tweet at us and tell us what we're supposed to be doing. Like we don't have other things going on ourselves besides the internet.
Well, I mean, I think in this case she may be right. So it's good to have you today. Let's get to the news. LastPass just gave you another reason to protect your accounts with a password manager because it's free. The LastPass payment structure has always been a little bit wonky, and their purchase, LastPass's purchase by the company LogMeIn, hasn't changed that much. In the consumer version, you could use the browser extension for free, but if you wanted to use LastPass on a phone or a tablet, you had to pay an annual subscription fee. Now that $12 fee is gone for generating complicated passwords and storing them across all of your devices. If you want to pay for LastPass Premium, if you really want to pay for it, you still can, and you'll get family sharing for up to 5 users, 1 gigabyte of encrypted file storage, YubiKey and other two-factor login integrations, desktop fingerprint identification, and LastPass for applications. The update is available right now. The company says they'll give refunds if you've recently paid for LastPass Premium just to get the multi-device access, and you don't need all those other features. But if you paid a long time ago, you just have to wait, and then your account will be turned free. What do you think about password management, Owen?
I think if you pay for it, you have more security. There's something about when something's free that I feel like I'm giving up something. So, I mean, it's great that it's free for all the people that said, oh, I'm not using it because I don't want to pay for it. But at the same time, it's like I'm paying for it because you're providing a service and you're only charging $12. Like maybe you drop it down to like $5 or something, but you still charge people money. Because then I know that like it's not free and I don't have to worry about a terms of service change or a, hey, well, we give you this for free. We do what we want type of situation. And you can bolster your business with money because you need it. But that's just me.
So you think this is a TANSAFL sort of situation? There's no such thing as a free lunch?
Nah, there's no such thing as a free lunch. So I would prefer paid for. But, I mean, it's great. Like I said, more people will probably use it now, which is better encryption. But at the same time, what are you giving up for that freedom?
Yeah, that could be. That's a good point. I mean, I use it. I love it. We use LastPass Enterprise here, so everyone who works has it. So, you know, I have my personal stuff in one batch and my work stuff in another batch. And, you know, it's great because I don't have the memory to remember all of these long passwords. And, you know, in their blog post, they say they're also working on getting rid of the one password. So there's still one password that you have to remember to get in to your LastPass, and they're working on a way to get rid of that too. So I have no idea what that will be, but maybe like eyeball recognition or
Yeah, fingerprint, something like that. My passwords are all hip hop ghetto-y things that no one could ever figure out. No computer could ever get into my passwords because they're just ridiculous. I'll share one with you next time I see you.
Oh, I thought you could share one here because share
no.
with everybody.
I can't give them. I can't give them the base because then they start tweaking around and playing around. Then we got problems.
Well, I'm glad you trust me enough to give me the base. Thanks.
Because that one password, I'll give you like one good password. You're like, oh, that's great, and then you could use that for the rest of your life and be safe.
Excellent. Well, last week we told you that Facebook was allowing advertisers to exclude people from what they call ethnic affinity groups. 73 civil rights organizations expressed concerns about this in a letter to Mark Zuckerberg. Facebook says, quote, "We expressly prohibit discrimination and take prompt enforcement action when we determine that ads violate our policies." However, they don't go as far as to say they'll stop allowing advertisers to use these tools, but they have objected to and have blocked the UK's Admiral Insurance Company from using drivers' Facebook posts to determine their car insurance rates. Admiral had planned to use their own insurer's algorithm analysis of social media usage to identify safe drivers. Facebook says they'll block this. I know you have some thoughts on these two issues, Owen. Let's start with the first one, the advertising. What do you think?
Again, at least Facebook is proactive when people have a problem with something. So at least they're listening to people and they're trying to move in the right direction. So yay, Facebook for that. As far as the insurance thing goes, you really think that they're not going to be scraping for all these fools driving and videotaping their kids while they're driving to school, telling their little stories? Because I'd drop you in a heartbeat if I could find out that you were driving and talking on your phone making these stupid videos. So people are lucky that Facebook shut that down, because half my friends list would be dropped without car insurance in a week because people just do it every single day. Not to mention all the other stuff that they're doing wrong, but that's just a major violation when you're in a moving vehicle that an insurance company would just love to have.
Yeah, but what's weird is that's not really what they were looking at. They were looking at people's posts like really in a large data sort of way. Like if you used a lot of exclamation points, for example, then you were seen as impulsive. And so then you wouldn't get good rates. What were the other things they said?
But do we believe everything that people tell us when they tell us what they're doing and what they would do with it? Or do they say things that sound really good and sound okay? Oh, so you're just going to see if I sound intelligent or if I'm ghetto or if I don't use punctuation properly? Oh, I'm sure that's going to really help you with the algorithm versus, man, let's see if they're making videos in their car while they're driving while we're in there. You say what you want. I don't really trust the insurance company to do the things that they had on that list to say that they were looking for. I don't believe that.
Yeah, there's all kinds of other things they can do. Our cars are paired. If our cars are paired to our phones, they could, there's probably the data of like whether we're texting while driving. That's out there. I just think this was so weird. People that write in short, concrete sentences somehow would pay less in insurance.
Well, I don't understand how any of that would work. There's some people that don't do anything but post cats on their Facebook. What does that do for you? Does that raise your rate? Does that lower your rate? What?
I would say it lowers your rate. I would think if I were in charge, I would say it lowers your rate because people who are posting cats all the time might be more likely to stay at home more often. Is that
well, that should lower your rate. That should lower your rate.
Right,
cat people are home; they don't drive. So
lower your rate.
Okay, that's a good point. See, all right, I guess we could find out other things from those algorithms. I just assume they're going to be in there snooping on everything. Oh, do you smoke weed? You were drinking last Wednesday. Were you in your car? Were you at a party? Did you have to drive home? I bet you didn't Uber. Just all kinds of stuff that they could scrape for and look for to get people. So again, not that I love saying yay to Facebook, but yay Facebook.
Well, I think this data is really out there, and I think, it's already being used to show us advertisements, to show us like rates on, home loans, that sort of thing. Based on our search terms. So I think we're already being targeted, whether it's, insurance rates or, all the people that are getting free Apple Watches, from their workplace like that all those connections, I think might have connections to what our health insurance rates will be. It's just, yeah.
And those things are like opt-in things. I get that. My friend at his job, they all got Fitbits, and if they do a certain amount of steps or whatever, they get perks and things like that. And like they win prizes. Somebody wins a prize every month for the most steps and things like that. So they're trying to encourage people to be healthy. I get all that as an opt-in, but you're not forced to do it. Nobody's sneaking in to get the information from you. You're volunteering to enter into that.
Yeah, I just wonder about this story. Like, I wonder if this happens all the time, like insurance companies and other big companies are trying to use Facebook data for certain things that then Facebook says, no, you can't. But I'm just wondering if then they somehow floated this story to the top of the news to make them look like, hey, like we're really paying attention. We're let's forget about that advertising thing. Look at what we blocked this UK insurance company from using your data for. So, but
you don't trust Facebook? Come on.
You
Stop.
don't either. We've had this discussion before. Remember
hey,
Finding Nemo?
Hey, the Zucks, I love it. It's great. Everybody, trust it. Click stuff.
They've gotten to you.
Somebody argued with me today, or got really upset with me today. Apparently, their Safari on their phone won't allow them to use Facebook anymore because of Messenger or something like that. Because they usually don't log into Facebook through the app. They use Safari on their phone so they can avoid downloading Messenger. And now it's like forcing them to do it. And I'm like, well, Facebook really wants you to use their text messages and call through their app.
That's true.
So.
Mm-hmm. Well, Microsoft launched a new workplace collaboration tool called Microsoft Teams. It has web-based IRC like text chat, storage of historic chats, and integrations with third-party services. And the service looks a lot like Slack. Instead of cowering in Microsoft's shadow today, Slack's founder, Stuart Butterfield, took out a full-page ad in the New York Times with an open letter condescendingly explaining to Microsoft that it wouldn't be enough for them to simply clone Slack's features. They got to do more. Basically, they don't understand the millennials. But I think that Microsoft I think they might have this. From the early reviews, I haven't used it, but people say that it's more business-like, it's more cleanly organized. It's part of Office 365, so it might be part of the tool set that people are already using. So I don't know. Have you taken a look at Microsoft Teams, or do you use Slack?
I use Slack, and I understand Slack trying to like re-troll to give themselves a boost and kick them. But the one thing that Microsoft has down is Office. I mean, not for nothing, it's the most paid for app that people use, professionals use. So offering something in that service, they're going to have people at least try it. And not for nothing, if you're going to build something that's useful, you might as well clone the best thing out there and then bring it to people who may or may not use it and just want to be inside the infrastructure. Some people don't like having additional apps or additional programs. So I can actually see it being useful, doing kind of well, because they've already got that base from the 365 people in there. So it looks really good. But again, it just looks like Slack, but that's why it looks good. So I think it might actually do well if it's functional and doesn't crash.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe I'm not Slack's demographic, but I think it's fine. But I think all of the surrounding like energy around Slack is sort of overblown. Like it's just this cool company, and everyone loves it and you can send animated GIFs. And I just like, to me, it's not really that different, but maybe I haven't, like maybe, we don't use it in the way that other companies use it, really integrating all the different apps and everything that you can do with it. But you really like it?
Branding. Yeah. I like it as much as I like anything else. It works. That's all the other bells and whistles about Slack. It works. It works on my mobile device. It works on my desktop. I can flop back and forth, and I rarely ever have an issue. Like I might have had an issue once or twice. So that's what they have going for them. They have that marketing and they have stability, and people love using something that works all the time.
Yeah, so, you're right. You're right. It does. That. Yeah. Well, the American Civil Liberties Union took on a federal court in California today to insist that taking a picture of your ballot and posting it on social media is part of your First Amendment rights. Back in September, California's Governor Jerry Brown signed a law legalizing ballot selfies, but that law won't go into effect until 2017. So today's case was about what voters are allowed to do in next week's election, which is really what people want to post on social media. The illegality of ballot selfies comes from the voter privacy, in trying to ensure voter privacy and the rights we have that our vote is private if we want it to be. So, for example, no one can force you to prove how you voted. If someone wants to buy your vote, one way way to do it is post on social media, hey, like I voted for the candidate that you wanted me to, now pay me. But, you know, if you have to be private, then they can't do that. We're living in this world where so few things are private anymore. People are really proud of a lot of what they do, whether it's their sandwich or who they're voting for. What do you think?
I think you don't need to take a picture of your ballot. I think you can wear your Hillary hat or your Trump skull cap and take a picture and everybody knows who you voted for, or you can have a joint and be with Gary Johnson. I don't think you need to take a picture in the booth to show who you voted for or what your affiliation is. And it's the law, and not that I love all the laws, but right now it's the law. Just don't do it. That's it.
Well, it's
Just don't
not.
do it.
Yeah, it's confusing because it's not the law everywhere. Time has a map that says where it's legal to post a ballot selfie, where it's illegal, and where it's too confusing. California is too confusing because it will be illegal in 2017, so nobody knows what to do next week. But I mean, the truth is, no one's going to enforce this. And
that's the big thing about it. Like it is the law, but who's going to do anything about it? And as far as buying your vote, I mean, you know, Madonna's out there promising people stuff that if you vote for Hillary, I'm like, how are you going to prove it? Oh, yeah, now you're taking selfies in the booth. So, I mean, again, people already, the way I read a lot of things were saying that people are going to be persuaded. Well, they've already been on every talk show, every news outlet, every social media outlet of their own. So you know who's for what. You know what I mean? So taking that picture on that day, it's not really a huge deal.
I think so too. I think, yeah. I mean, I do believe like everyone should have the right to say whatever they want, and I believe in free speech. But yeah, exactly what you said. Maybe you don't need to. Maybe you can just live your life in the way that.
Or just take a picture of yourself, like you said. I voted today with your little. I know a lot of friends that take a picture of their I voted sticker or their voted pen. And again, they're usually wearing a T-shirt of whoever they're voting for, or whatever, so you know who they voted for. So not a huge deal, but I mean, it's not that important either. You know, oh, you voted in the booth. Good job. You could have took a picture of that sticker too. Same.
Well, you can see why people might be like forced to vote a certain way if everyone in their community is posting that on social media and they feel compelled. But you can also see where someone might say like, oh, hey, you know, that person that I admire is voting for that candidate. Like maybe I would like to too, which, I mean, you might say, well, it depends on that person that you admire. But I mean, it is a way for people who have a following to, you know, I guess push their agenda.
But they already know that. Have you seen Oprah's selfie in a booth yet?
True. Good point.
Do you know who she's voting for? I know who Oprah's voting for. You know what I mean? I don't need to wait for that day for her to dissuade or persuade me.
Right.
I already know what's going on with the people that I like. Everybody's made their opinion very clear by now.
That's true. I know. I follow you on social media, and I certainly don't know exactly who you're voting for, but I do know who you're not voting for.
That's right. I'm not voting. I'm voting locally. I'm looking for Senate and Congress and my DA and my sheriff. I'm voting for all those, all that top hoopla. I'm just out of that. That's just, you know, I'm leaving that for the birds.
Awesome. I think we did that political discussion pretty well. Hopefully we only offended a small amount of people. So there's
tap dance.
Yeah, good tap dance. There's a pretty steady chorus of complaints about the new laptops that Apple unveiled last week. Among the many criticisms, photographers have been up in arms about the removal of the SD card slot. In an interview with The Independent, Phil Schiller defended the decision, calling the slot cumbersome and obsolete. And this wireless transfer will work just fine, Phil says. Yeah, it's fine. When asked if Mac OS would ever be combined with iOS, Schiller insisted that Apple was steadfast in the belief that the two OSs are fundamentally different. He also says there have been more online orders for the new MacBook Pro than ever before, and he encouraged all the passionate dialogue around the product. Now, I know what your daughter dressed up as for Halloween. I know who you're not voting for, but I don't know what your thoughts are on the new MacBook Pros. What do you think, Owen?
Hold on while I munch on this popcorn. Just give me. Oh wait, we're in the middle of the show. I'll put the popcorn. I'll get the popcorn later. My bad.
You were so riveted by my discussion that you needed popcorn like a movie.
Yeah, well, because it's so delicious and evil. Okay, it's rant time. I hate this MacBook Pro. This fool is stupid. First of all, how are you going to make a MacBook Pro and give me a headphone jack that you didn't give me on my phone, but you don't give me a USB port so I could charge and use my phone on that device? You give me all these C devices so I can have dongles sticking all over the place, but you don't give me an SD card slot. Oh, it's cumbersome? It's cumbersome. It's cumbersome? It's the thinnest, lightest, fluffiest magical courage thing in the world. What do you mean this is cumbersome? This is thinner than your C slot device. Like, people, you call it a pro device, but now you've made every device a pro, and that makes it not a professional's device. A professional's not going to use this little 13 thing piece of crap with 8 gigs RAM. I'm going to spend $3,000, $4,000 for the professional device, which is a little stupid touchpad, so I could put emojis. So I need emojis. I already had shortcut keys. Professionals use shortcut keys. I use for Photoshop. I use for Final Cut Pro. I don't need to program this tiny, minuscule screen to have a great laptop. So you made it thinner so you could make more money with dongle ties and still put a headphone jack in it that you told me I didn't need. It's so stupid. And the reason it's the highest selling MacBook ever is because you haven't updated that stupid laptop with that old processor that overheats in 7 years. So all these professionals have been waiting around hoping the Lord Jesus that they would get something powerful and mobile. And you gave them this, and they have to take it because of the processor upgrade, not because of your innovation, not because everybody wants dongles all over the place, but because they're professionals and they have to. That's why.
Whoa. I feel like I should have been taking notes like it was a debate because I had some points to come back at you, but then I just got overwhelmed and I need the popcorn.
It's a barrage. That's what I'm saying. That's why I had the popcorn ready. You over here and he over here talking all this fluffy stuff about his sales and about everything that he did. Just tell me this. Why is there a headphone jack on the laptop?
Okay, well, the argument for that is that this is a pro device, and in the laptop, that port might be used for a microphone. It might be used for a monitor. It might be used for any other kind of pro recording equipment.
What professional uses that for a microphone input? I'm going to wait.
I think podcasters do. Burke is saying nobody does.
Professional podcast, excuse me, I'm getting upset. Professional podcasters do not use that. They do not use the headphone input jack for their microphone. They don't. They don't.
I mean, I don't. You don't. We don't. So I guess that's a good.
And even if they did, didn't you create a dongle for that? That you told me was better as a transitional port? So I can't even charge my phone directly in this laptop without having a dongle in it. So if you're going to tell me that something's magical and better for me, and you create a dongle that you charge $9 for, why don't I have a lightning cable charger in that port? Because that would appease both situations for the professional that needs the headphone jack and the person that wants to charge their phone. See, because that's what I start thinking. I'm like, who's thinking about this stuff? And then come tell me what to think about this little bar with the little emojis on it and how adaptive I'm going to be and how much faster I'm going to work, having to reach all the way to the top of the screen and scroll when I've got a mouse, a trackpad, a whizzy ball, my brain. And I mean, don't even get me started on the fact that this is the company that reinvented touchscreens, and they still haven't put in a laptop. While the Microsoft Surface Pro Book, whatever, has, it's $2,000. It's got a great processor, 16 gigs RAM. It detaches. I could draw it. I could do everything on the screen. But Apple just over here not doing nothing. I mean, Microsoft just made a new iMac that lays flat, uses the touchscreen. I could do. What is Apple doing? Where's my innovation? I miss you, Steve. Oh, I do. I miss him.
Okay, so I guess you're not going to buy my argument about this SD card sticks out a little bit. That's why it's cumbersome.
Because I'm running down the street with my MacBook Pro. I might just get hung up with wind resistance of this SD card. What? The dongles aren't cumbersome? You dongles? You got 42 alien ears sticking out of this laptop, but you're going to tell me about this little card that's cumbersome. No, I'm not buying that.
You're the puppet.
And look, I love Apple stuff. I'm Mac boy friendly, but I'm not stupid. They don't pay my bills. Ain't nobody called me from Apple and told me they love me lately. They don't call me like you do. So no, I'm not falling for this mousetrap. It's just bad business in general. But it's Apple, so they can get away with it. That's you just. Oh, I'm sorry.
So what you're saying is you're going to buy one anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But you know what I'm going to do in protest? I'm getting the one without that little stupid whiz screen, and I'm going to pay the extra $500 just to get it upgraded so I can be normal. But I'm not paying for that stupid trackpad screen. I'm not doing it. It's useless. It's pointless. I got big fingers.
Well, I think you've convinced a lot of us of something.
I ain't convinced for nothing. You want one. You need it in your life. You're drooling about it. You're going to go to sleep tonight. He don't know what he's talking about.
That is usually what I say. But no, I trust you. We trust you. And after the break, we have a new segment that I designed just for you. It's called Gift Idea or Garbage. Ask the Doctor. You're going to want to stick around for this. You want to be ready. But first, let's take a minute to thank Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, the sponsor of this episode. The old-fashioned way of getting a mortgage was frustrating. It was time-consuming. Rocket Mortgage brings the mortgage approval process into the 21st century. It's fast, it's powerful, it's completely online. Rocket Mortgage has taken all the complicated, time-consuming parts of applying for a mortgage out of the equation. With Rocket Mortgage, you can easily share your bank statements and pay stubs at the touch of a button, helping you get approved in minutes for a custom mortgage solution that's been tailored to your unique financial situation. Even better, with Rocket Mortgage, you can do all of this on your phone or your tablet. It's a quick online process that you can manage from the convenience of your couch. So, if you're looking to refinance your mortgage or buy a home, check out Rocket Mortgage today at quickenloans.com/TNT. That's quickenloans.com/TNT. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030. And we thank Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans for their support. So I am an early shopper for the holidays. Sometimes when I'm out, I go by the WWOB rule. That's what would Owen buy. So today we're going to start a new segment called Gift Idea or Garbage. I will ask Owen if a new gadget will be a favorite or a flop. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. First is Omati's Yumi Robot. The Verge says Yumi is an Alexa-enabled tablet with wheels. It's a mini version of the Asus Zembo, which costs $600, but Yumi is only $350. It has 3,000 Amazon Echo skills, but it doesn't have object avoidance or drop avoidance sensors. Gift idea or garbage?
Not knowing your surroundings is kind of a big deal for a gift. How much does it cost?
$200 and how much does it cost? It costs $350.
Ooh, that's kind of steep. I'd say no for something like that. $350 for something that doesn't avoid something, because you know what kids are going to do? They're going to put it on a table. They're going to talk to it. It's going to fall off. It's going to walk. It's kind of big. It might be able to take that fall. I mean, if it wasn't for that, I'd say buy it because it's awesome. But that non-avoidance thing is freaking me out. Like, you got to know where you're at. You got to know your surroundings. Well, what if it walks out and goes down the street and you can't stop it?
Yeah. I mean, so it has to be it has to be high up because the camera doesn't adjust. So like if you really want to use the camera for surveillance or anything, you're going to have it up high. So then if it falls off, that would be a problem.
That seems really weird that it doesn't have avoidance to know its surroundings like that. Mm-hmm. No, don't buy it.
Okay.
Don't buy it.
All right. Well, if people still want to know for themselves, it's built on Android, 5-megapixel camera for video calls and surveillance. So, yeah. But I think, this is harsh. It might not be garbage. There might be somewhere in between.
I'm not calling it garbage. I'm just saying, like, that's kind of like a...
It's
like
no MacBook Pro.
No, it's definitely not. Like, it's something, I love stuff like that. Like, I'd want it, but I just would be so upset if I came home and it was, like, flipped over something and... cracked open.
Mm-hmm. That would be sad.
Maybe we'll check and see. If it's on Square Trade, then we buy it.
Okay. Good to know. All right. Wired says there's a new Apple Watch band that includes not one, but two cameras. The band costs $200, which is about on par with many other luxury Apple Watch bands. It includes an 8-megapixel forward-facing camera, 2-megapixel selfie camera. You flick your wrist, tap the screen to take a shot of whatever, hopefully letting the people know that you just took a picture of them and not secretly photographing them. Gift idea or garbage? I didn't say what it was called. I have no idea what it's called. It is a band that takes a picture, and it was created by the creators of, Aero. Maybe it's called Aero. But what do you think?
Buy it.
Okay, gift idea. For $200.
Yeah, I like the camera that was on the Samsung watch. Not that it had like a ton of uses, but it was just nice just to have. So buy it.
I like the idea because right now, I have the Apple Watch. The new one doesn't come with a camera either. I can see my camera like on my phone camera and look at it and take a picture that way. But this just sets it right up.
Yeah. You could do spy work with it. You could like snap on somebody's homework. You could take some notes, all kinds of stuff. You forget your phone, you could just use your watch for that too. That's nice. Actually make use of some of that space on there because nobody ever puts music on their Apple Watch anymore, apparently. So yeah, buy it.
True. Okay. I think it's called CMRA, which is why I
that's a horrible name.
It is a horrible name.
It's actually horrible branding that we can't find a name easily, so you can just say that.
Right,
That's
exactly.
really bad. That's bad business.
But it was created by a founder of video messaging startup and an engineer who worked on the Apple Watch. And also they pointed out that then your wrist becomes like a monopod. So if you have a shaky hand and you're trying to take a picture this way, like, you're just like that and it's steady.
Yeah.
So or video maybe too would be good. So.
Oh, you could do video with it?
Maybe. We don't even know what it's called. So
Oh, sure. We can't.
I would
trust
say
you.
yes. And if not,
Somebody
then we'll make
get
one.
for me.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. We want it.
Yes. And as Ed points out in the chat room, you could secretly take a selfie of your ballot with it.
There you go.
No one would know.
The world will never know.
So next is NavD. It's a heads-up display that might make it safer to text and drive, or it might kill you. The Wall Street Journal says NavD is a device designed to sit on your car's dashboard and project transparent maps, texts, songs, tweets, and more, making your dashboard redundant. If you get an incoming message, you wave your hand to the left, and the NavD reads it for you. NavD even knows the speed limit, and if you exceed it, the heads-up display projects a red speedometer onto your windshield. NavD costs $800, which the company says is less than installing other aftermarket heads-up displays. Gift idea or garbage?
It's not garbage. It's a good device. It's $800. My uncle had that technology in his Cadillac like 10 years ago, and Cadillac stopped doing it because nobody cared about it. So don't buy this for anybody because who's going to care? Don't buy it.
Well, I think
You're not
that
going to use it.
there's something
You're
like
not gonna,
this.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, there's something like this in the Prius, and I'm not sure if it's exactly what I have in the Prius, which it's sort of, it projects what you need to know, but not your text messages or anything, just like your speedometer and that sort of thing. But I still don't think it's a good idea to text and drive.
No,
even with these.
Exactly, because now you're going to be trying to read. It's just bad. And again, even like I said, I saw it a long time ago, and the only cool thing about it is when you're driving late at night, his had that awareness thing. So like if there was a deer or something on the side of the road, it would like alert you that there was something on the road. Like that was really cool. But all this extra stuff is still trying to get me to read and drive and do stuff I shouldn't be doing. So don't buy it. It's not garbage. I don't like calling stuff garbage. It looks like a good device, but don't buy it for anybody. They don't need that.
Yeah, $800
We could
is a
spend
lot.
$800 on something else.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the display is more easily visible. It's brighter than, if you're using your smartphone for navigation. So maybe you would see things easier and that's safer in that way. So, NavD. Well, I think that we learned that nothing here was as bad as the MacBook Pro.
No, oh, you know what else we learned? Remember that hover that we thought that might not be real? It's real.
I thought about this today because you
get the
said,
email?
Yeah, I did get the email giving me like
Okay.
a percentage off. I almost
Yep.
bought it for you. I should have.
See?
Did you
'Cause
buy
it's
it?
real. Well, no, now I got to get the DJI because now that's out and it does all the stuff that I loved about the hover. Where like, remember, my thing was I just like that it follows you and you can like wave it and do stuff. Well, now other things are doing that, and so I want that the Maverick or whatever it's called.
Mavic, yeah.
Yeah, I want that. So
Yeah, I saw that. I saw Casey Neistat was reviewing the hover on his YouTube channel, which I am not a subscriber, but some people in my family are. And I saw it and I was like, that's the thing that Owen talked about. And it is real.
it is real. That's great.
So,
I was so sad about it. I was like, oh, because whenever we talked about it afterwards, we thought it might not be real, but it's real.
yeah. So we would give the hover camera a gift idea, not garbage.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, we got some feedback from George Wood. He writes about our discussion on Monday of Uber Elevate, the ride-hailing company's plan for flying cars. George says there are already flying cars. The world's first passenger drone has been cleared for testing. That's the eHang. Have you seen the eHang, Owen?
Yes.
And would you ever get into that autonomous helicopter?
I will never be able to fit inside an autonomous helicopter. I am a dinosaur, but I would send my kid off in one as a test subject and let her float around a little bit.
That's good.
I feel like drones at this point they're doing amazing things with them, and I feel like after they do the testing with this device, this is something that's legit that could be getting people scooting around, and we might finally get to that future where people are flying over top of the cars that are driving, at least for short distances.
Yeah, well, I think EHang, and I don't know if they're really for real or not. I mean, it does appear that they were cleared for testing. I think one of their partnerships was through a company where they would deliver organs. So, if someone, you need your organ quick, otherwise it's not going to be good anymore. So they were going to deliver organs to emergency places, and there wouldn't be someone in there. So I have no
Pizza Hut, Papa John's, all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Pizza, livers, pizzas.
Yeah, which company it does? Is it? I can't remember if it's Pizza. It's Domino's, I think. They have like that little Domino's robot with the warming station in it that drives off on its own and delivers you pizza. So this is just the next evolution of that. They start droning you pizzas.
Right. Well, and of course, the Chipotle's already droning you burritos in certain areas.
There we go.
Mm-hmm. Well, after the break, Jason talked to a VR VP who explains why it's not cool to have to recreate yourself. I'm going to have you just think on that. But first, let's take a minute to thank our sponsor of this episode, Jira Service Desk from Atlassian. Are you tired of clunky support tools that are a pain to use? You can modernize IT support with Jira Service Desk from Atlassian. Jira Service Desk is a new service management software that IT teams will love to use. It's built on the Jira platform. Jira Service Desk delivers everything your IT team needs from just $10 a month. You can give customers an easy way to ask for help. You can stay on top of service level agreements with dynamic queues and mobile alerts. You can help your agents be productive. They can put out fires and help employees get stuff done. Automate repetitive tasks so your agents can focus on solving the important stuff. I mean, that is something that no job is without those repetitive tasks that you think, if I could just make these faster, I would get so much more work done. Jira Service Desk can also help external support teams, including those who want to use customer feedback to guide product development, group customers so you can filter queues, customize service level agreements, and pull reports by organization. Customer emails can now be branded and customized, and you can set up schedules and rules to control when and how those emails are sent. Easily integrate Jira Service Desk with Confluence to build a support knowledge base so your team can provide quick and easy support to customer requests. Our IT department here at TWiT uses Jira Service Desk. They use it to track projects and tasks assigned to each project as it moves from concept and implementation to the final product. They take advantage of Jira Service Desk's customization to track tasks and progress made by assignees using swim lanes for the department's Kanban board. Jira Service Desk provides real-time visualizations, so once a task is completed, the ticket is moved to the completed column. Oh, that feels so good. Jira Service Desk integrates with other Atlassian products like HipChat, so notifications from Jira Service Desks are easily sent via HipChat and vice versa. Jira Service Desk is simple to set up and so affordable you won't even need your boss's approval. For a free trial of Jira Service Desk, visit Atlassian.com/twit. The first 100 signups will receive a free t-shirt. See why over 20,000 IT teams love Jira Service Desk by trying it with a free 7-day trial today. That's Atlassian.com/twit, and we thank them for their support. Who are you? No, I mean it. Who are you in virtual reality? Are you you? Are you someone else? Jason caught up with one company at the Virtual Reality Developers Conference who's tackling that metaphysical question. Let's take a look.
When you're in VR, you feel like you're living in another world and that you are a certain person, but there's this whole layer of identity that gets broken up from experience to experience. In some ways, you have to rebuild it from the ground up in many ways. And I'm standing here with Morph 3D's Berkeley. How's it going, Berkeley?
I'm awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's good to talk with you about this. So tell us a little bit about Morph 3D's kind of vision of a persistent avatar.
Yeah. So we feel, like you mentioned, it's what's happening right now is a very fractured, disjointed experience. It's not cool to have to recreate yourself on every platform, and it's also not just not cool, but it's also really, really hard to do. Like, most people have a hard time creating unique avatars that reflect who they want to be, and so that's what our mission is to to build that platform and that tool set and that ecosystem of content and technology that really helps people express themselves, lets them stand out if they want to stand out, or fit in if they want to fit in. And then whatever configuration you come up with, or whoever, as you start to find your virtual identity, we want that identity to persist across platforms. We don't want you to have to recreate that again and again and again. And so we're here at VRDC kind of announcing our vision for this, and even showcasing our technology and partnerships that we formed that kind of prove that this is like a really good way to go.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about the partnerships, because that's a big part of what you've got showing off here, and I'm sure that's kind of part of what we're looking at behind us. But tell us a little bit about your partnership with High Fidelity.
Yeah, so it was really cool. High Fidelity found us. They're like, hey, we need some really good avatars. We know you guys have a lot of experience doing this. We're a company that has about 15 years in character creation. And we've got this awesome ecosystem of artists and artist network making content for this dynamic character system that we've had. And then we've since ported it over to VR. And when this all came, it was kind of this like awesome confluence of events where they're like, hey, we need help with this. And it turns out that you guys are already doing it. So yeah, we kind of shared with them our vision and collaborated with them about what might be a meaningful experience. And over the last few months, we've kind of figured out and cracked that code as to like, how do we actually bake out these avatars and send them to High Fidelity? Because we're going from one platform to another, from one game engine to a different game engine, and how do we make this work? And so I think that answers your question.
Yeah, for sure. I think what's interesting about the partnership with High Fidelity, and you mentioned this as we were talking a little bit before, is that Philip Rosedale, who is basically the man that kind of envisioned and created Second Life. Like when you think of Second Life and the legacy that has over however many years it's been around, in many ways it was doing very VR-like sort of things as far as like this immersive world with an identity, a shared identity, an avatar that travels through this world that represents your personality. It seems like this type of relationship seems like the perfect fit for what you guys are trying to do.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, it's been really cool collaborating with Philip and his team. When you hear him talk about like what he's been trying to do for the better part of his adult life, like he's really passionate about this space. He's really passionate about creating, the new world, the metaverse, and integral to that, he acknowledges his identity and how important it is to be able to feel like you want to be you when you're in virtual reality, and so
you also want to be somebody else sometimes too.
I think we've done some cool interviews, and we're doing some cool media stuff with Philip, and like in these interviews, like when you watch him, like what was one of the things he said is like, I think that in some cases your virtual and I'm kind of paraphrasing his quote, but like he says, I feel that the virtual persona is your real persona. More so, like this is maybe not me. More like what I am in virtual reality is could be or should be the real me, because I finally get to express myself and show present myself to the world the way I want to be seen, not what the genetic lottery was, right?
Sure. You're less inhibited. You're more inclined to kind of be, you have no limits, right? In the virtual world, you have no limits. So tell us a little bit about how developers like the SDK that's kind of driving this. How do you bring people in? How can people get involved?
Yeah, awesome. So the best way for us to distribute our avatars is if developers choose to integrate our API onto their platform, but that's a little bit more involved than the other way that we can do things, which is to bake out our avatar, bake out your avatar specifications for the platform that you want to go to. So that's a good starting point, and that's what we did with High Fidelity, because again, we're like kind of like a cat and a dog situation where they are not Unity-based, we're Unity-based. They're on a proprietary platform or engine that they're building out. And so, like, how do we get this content to talk? And so we have like a very sophisticated baking out process that we can send it to all sorts. We can redefine our avatar for the definition that's necessary, requisite for the platform that it's targeting. And so that's what we do with High Fidelity. The coolest way we think things can go is when people integrate our API. If developers integrate our API into their platform, then the avatar is not only persistent, but it becomes highly dynamic in the sense that if you show up in a social VR situation, you're like hanging out with your crew, and you ended up doing like a impromptu dungeon crawl, and you need to look, and someone needs to become the ranger, and someone needs to be like the thief, right? Like you can change your wardrobe on the fly, or maybe you're going to a toga party or something, and like you can make those changes, or someone gives you a piece of cake and you gain weight, or like you run really fast for a long time and you shrink down. Like the system's highly dynamic and very flexible, and we can bring that over to your platform or a developer's platform if they integrate the API. So it's easy to get started because we can just do bakeouts, but API is the coolest way, and I'm excited for that to start happening.
I've been speaking with Berkeley with Morph 3D and get a chance to play around with it as well. I love when I get to throw on the goggle and check out the experience for myself. Thanks for talking with us today.
Right on, man. Thanks.
Oh, that is, I don't know how I feel about my avatar eating a donut and getting bigger, or I like the idea of my avatar exercising and getting smaller. But that is, I don't know. I mean, I'm not, I don't play a lot of games that are involved with avatars, but I know avatars like on social media, I feel like they mean something. Like people that I don't really know in real life, like I start to imagine, even if they have like a comic book avatar in their Twitter or something, I start to imagine them as like, Iron Man or whatever. What do you think, Owen?
I think there should be a donut. See, this is how I was supposed to look earlier, and I don't know what happened, but my contrast fixed itself. I look so good right now. I'm like a floating. I feel like a Steve, on an Apple thing. Anyway, back to point. Maybe if you ate 10 donuts or something, you gave us away, but just eating one donut, you'd be like, man, I just ate a donut. So I guess it's fun that it changes and it moves around because it makes it feel like it's a living thing. And I'm sure they would adjust and tweak that. But, most of the time when people making avatars, they just want to set it and forget it. You don't need to do all kinds of extra stuff to have it moving around. Most people wouldn't want that. Mm-hmm. And they wouldn't want to feel self-conscious about that either way because, stuff starts creeping in your mind when you see it. And you're like, oh, is that how I am really? Like, is that what it is? Like, so I'm not cool with that either, technically speaking.
Were you a player of Second Life?
Yes, I was. I played Second Life for a good long time until my friend got catfished. And then I got off of Second Life. I was like, man, ain't nobody getting me.
And did your avatar, maybe this is a personal question, did your avatar look like you?
Okay, so here's the thing. My avatar looked like me as the best version of me because, I already look like me, all right? Okay? I'm cute for a fat guy, but at Avatar Land, I take this round and I slim it down. So I take the circumference, and I age it up. So instead of being 6 foot, I jack up to like 6'4". You know what I mean? So I like stretch the weight. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Same size, but it's just taller. Right. That's all.
I age it down. So like I'm the real me, but 18, which is what I feel like.
Well, my Facebook says I'm 67. So that's why when you talk about advertising and all that kind of stuff, they're advertising to the wrong guy. The stuff that I get, boy, you'd be amused at the stuff they pitch me.
So now
they're trying to get the senior citizens.
So do you watch HBO's Westworld?
I have not yet. I missed out on the start of it, so now I'm just going to watch all of it when it's done.
Are you afraid of spoilers?
What are spoilers?
Okay, no. Well, I won't spoil it. But when Jason was like making his avatar and like making it bigger and small, and it was kind of naked like that. Everything makes me think of Westworld. It's that show that just gets into your blood, and you're like, that's like Westworld. But yeah. When
I don't watch something, I just ignore it. So I don't really see it. Like I missed The Walking Dead, and since I missed it doing something else, I also wasn't paying attention to the internet. So if I'm busy enough not to see something, I'm not in that zone. So since I don't watch that show, I'm usually not on the internet during that time. And if somebody says something about it, I would have no clue what they're talking about because I haven't watched it at all.
Okay.
So I'm kind of lucky that way.
All right. Well, TNT's fan of the day is Wowman's Alex, who says he kicks off the day watching the latest tech news today. And he says, why didn't I find out earlier about this great podcast? That is exactly what I was wondering, Alex. Do not let anyone else suffer like you did. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell everyone. And the rest of you can show us how you watch or listen to TNT. Record a video or take a picture of yourself or your setup. Post it on Instagram, Google+, Twitter, or Facebook. Use the hashtag HowIWatchTNT. And I was digging deep for those. So please send them if you've been thinking, if you've been on the fence, or if you're like, they're not going to use it. We will. So send it in. After the break, Amazon wants to teach kids how to read with a chat app. But first, let's take a minute to thank ZipRecruiter, the sponsor of this episode. If you are hiring, you need to post your job everywhere. You can post your job on all the top job sites, and it's not as scary as it sounds. It won't take as much time with ZipRecruiter. You can do it. Posting jobs in one place is not enough to find the quality candidates that you are looking for. With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post to more than 100 job boards, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Just post once and watch your candidates roll into ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. ZipRecruiter offers optimized pages that look great on any screen. So you can find candidates in any city or industry nationwide. No more juggling emails or calls to your office. You can add multiple users to your account. Quickly screen candidates with real-world questions using free-form, multiple-choice, or yes/no formats. View candidate responses in conjunction with their beautifully formatted resumes. You can rate them, and then you can hire the right person fast. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 1 million businesses. More than 160 million candidate applications have been delivered. Right now, you can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free. So if you don't trust me, try it, and you can try it for free. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/twit. That's ZipRecruiter.com/twit. And we thank ZipRecruiter for their support of Tech News Today. Amazon Rapids is a new app that aims to teach kids how to read, teach them where they are in text messages. It's a free download that lets parents create accounts for their kids, put in their interests, and then they can choose free stories. Kids can read at their own pace. You have to tap the icons for the text message stories to appear. Some stories are free. Then it's a $3 a month subscription. I checked it out today. It seems interesting, if maybe for a reluctant reader. Any thoughts on this, Owen?
I'm always a Debbie Downer about everything, so I'm not going to be about this because it's about the kids and getting the kids to read. I'm all for that. And I'm for kids reading in any way possible. My daughter reads mostly graphic novels, but we're also reading Mark Twain right now, I think. So I give her a break between the classics and something fun she likes to read. And kids always have phones in their hands. So, yay, give them something to read. And maybe it'll have them text better, too. Because the biggest problem with giving a kid a phone now is that they start with that shorthand early, and it kind of messes up their development and learning. So I guess this is a good thing. Just another way to get money, though, it seems like. Some things are free, and then they start nickel and diming you if you want to help your kids.
Right. Like getting them to read early so they'll be addicted to Amazon. That's their plan.
And addicted to the device.
Yeah.
More device addiction. Like, oh, it's going to tell me a story. I need to find out how big the story is for $3.99 in a text message. Like, what kind of story are you really telling, and what's going on in here? So,
yeah,
I guess I need to check it out.
I tried it. It's, it's one of those silly stories. It wasn't, it didn't really, it was fine. And so the free ones, I didn't get to the end because, I had work to do, but they seem okay. And then there's not shorthand. There's no, it's actually written in English and, pretty conversational English. And you can tap on words you don't understand and that will help you pronounce them. And if there's a word you don't know, you can add it to your glossary. So yes,
that sounds great.
Yes, for a reluctant reader, and I'm with you. My kids love the graphic novels. There are Mark Twain graphic novels. Do you know that, Owen?
What?
I know. There are a lot of graphic novels about all kinds of historical graphic novels. There's one on the Dust Bowl. We need to talk offline.
Yeah, I was gonna say, pack up the old ones they've already read and ship them to me.
Okay,
I
will
send them back. I tell you what, I'm about to get a second job for all these books that I'll be buying her because she loves them so much she blows through them, and then I gotta feel like I gotta read them to get my money's worth out of them.
Yeah.
So
maybe maybe $3 a month subscription would be for you.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's more reading. Like I said, more power to it if it gets kids reading because a lot of kids don't like to read and they don't have people pushing them to read. So if you give a kid a device and it's on there, they'll do it because it's something for them to do when they're bored. So, yay.
Exactly. Well, Owen, thank you so much for joining us. I'm getting lots of Twitter DMs. Have Owen on again. Of course, we will. What else are you working on? Where can we point people to? Is there a new DocTales?
I moved, and you see this how much I love you. I dug this mic out today for you. I'm still like in the midst of boxes because been running around. So there's no new DocTales, but there's old ones that are still fun on IQMZ.com, and I'll probably do another one this week now that my mic's out and I got everything all set up for you. Now I could use it for myself too. So I'm on the internet. Tweet me. I say hello back. I'm on the Facebooks. Apparently, I'll be voting next week. Maybe I'll take a picture and a selfie. Maybe I won't. You never know.
And of course, Owen appears regularly on Twit on Sunday, so then you can get him in the full 3-hour format, which is just as amazing as what you saw tonight. ranty. Too much ranting. I hope, see, that MacBook thing. Oh, you love it still. I know you do. Nothing I said fazed you. It didn't faze you one bit. You're right, it didn't. But apparently it didn't faze you either. You said you were going to be buying one.
And that's what Apple does, because they make you. But I'm told you what I'm doing. I'm going to buy the one that doesn't have that little touchscreen thing and then just upgrade the processor and stuff. They're going to get more money out of me that way, but I'm sticking to my guns.
Okay. Well, I support that. Thank you so much for going on. Odocta on Twitter with an H at the end. Thanks for coming on.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Jason will be back tomorrow. And, of course, TNT records live every Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UTC at twit.tv/live. We'll have to change that next week because I think it's daylight savings. We're finally doing it here. You can be part of the show by emailing us at tnt@twit.tv, or you can leave us a short voicemail at 260-TNT-SHOW. You can also find the show on Twitter. We're at Tech News Today TV. Twit is now on the Amazon Echo Flash briefing. You can get updates on the latest tech news and events from Leo, Jason, and me. To hear Twit's Flash briefing, go to the settings in your Alexa app, search for Twit, and then subscribe. It is a great way to start your morning. Find all the ways to subscribe to our show at twit.tv/TNT. And if you want to tweet at me, I'm at Megan Maroney. Thank you to our technical director and editor, Kevin. And thanks to Burke for being Burke. And thanks to you for talking tech with us today. We'll see you tomorrow.